Welcome back, YouTube and Miami Dolphins fans. We are back. We are excited. Hey, the draft is finally done. We have a bunch of things to get into. Some mixed emotions a little bit. Our emotions have changed since the draft for some of us. But we are excited to get into this. We're going to break down every pick. We're going to go into our three favorites, give us a grade, and go from there. I do want to actually start out with something different. I'm going to ask at the beginning. A lot of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed or don't give feedback or don't like. I think 87% of the people that watch our videos are not subscribers. So I'm going to ask those 87% of people who are watching right now to please subscribe. We drop content weekly. If you are a Dolphins fan, I think throughout this next season, we're going to do really well together, and we're going to grow from there. So that's all I have to say. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, I think that's a great message, and I'm going to steal the spotlight before we go pick by pick because I want to talk about how my emotions changed from when the players were drafted to today. Today is Monday, and I just want to go over before we even start going pick by pick, when the draft happened, I felt like through the first three rounds of the draft, with every pick, I was upset, and I shouldn't have been. When they picked Jalen Waddle, I was like, damn it, could have had Smith. When they picked Jalen Phillips, I was like, damn it, could have had Najee Harris. When we got sniped by Denver, I thought I was going to lose my mind because I wanted Javonte Williams. When we traded up for Liam Eichenberg, I didn't feel any type of way. And by the third round, I was so upset that I told my dad, watch them draft a tight end here because that would be the ultimate thing that would just totally set me off and make me fume like Hades from the movie Hercules, where he gets all red and then he's like cool again. So I just want to start by saying that that's how I felt initially, but the reason I felt this way, and maybe some of you are feeling this way too, was I paid too much attention to who we didn't draft and not to the actual talent that we did draft. And after I was able to sit down, take a deep breath, and watch the film, it completely changed my mind about all of the picks, and I am over the moon happy now with all of the players and who they picked and the value they got them up. I think this was the best draft I've seen almost in my entire time, as a Dolphins fan. I mean, one of them for sure. So I just want to start by saying that if you're upset, maybe take a second to take a deep breath and kind of listen to what people like us are about to say, and maybe watch the film for yourself, and you could feel a little bit better if you're for some reason upset, which everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is personally why I'm not a big fan of mock drafts, is because it skews everything. It's not how it goes down. It just never is, because what NFL GMs think is just so much different than what we think. They know so much more. That's why I always, give my judgment to them. I'll let them make the decision. I have the people I want. If they don't get them, it's like, dang, but I got to trust them over me. So that's what I'll say with that. You ready to get into these picks, huh?
Yeah, let's get into the picks. I think that was a good way to put it, is mock drafts made us attached to certain players, but you have to trust. Greer and Flores have earned our trust, and I think we're about to go through each pick and explain, what we like about it and stuff like that.
So starting off, pick number 6. I was before the draft, or during the draft when we were on the clock, I was so worried we are going to pick Penei Sewell, and I didn't want him. I wanted Smith or Waddle, and I'd be happy. So we, of course, did draft Jalen Waddle. There's really not much to say about Jalen Waddle. Most people know he's a pretty big name. He's got the speed. He's a shorter receiver. But as far as I've seen, he can make the jump ball contested catches that someone like Jakeem Grant couldn't make. Jalen Waddle in that Kansas City game probably makes that catch that turned into an interception. He's made multiple jump ball catches, even though he's not the biggest guy. He stretches the field. Him and Will Fuller together are going to be absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about Waddle. I'll have a lot more to say about other picks because we all know who he is. The one thing I think you can really look forward to is Waddle is a good way to help, and we'll talk about this as each pick goes on, but Waddle's a good way to help the running game by, if you have Fuller and Waddle on the field at the same time. Sure, we didn't get Najee Harris and we don't have a crazy power back, but believe me, Myles Gaskin and Salvin Ahmed will do a lot better if they have more space. So I think just Waddle's so cool because he's the only receiver in the draft that changes the game before the play starts even. Just him being out on the field is so exciting because the defense automatically has to account for it, and if they don't, they'll lose the game. That's so cool. Just that even if he couldn't catch, the threat is there, and he can catch. but like
Yeah.
him and Fuller just being on the field dictates what the defense has to do. That's awesome to like force the opponent's hand. So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on Waddle.
Good enough. Excited to see him. Of course, week one, Will Fuller won't be there, so I'm sure Jalen Waddle, his first game of the season, will be getting a lot of attention.
Probably.
So that's exciting. All right, so with the next pick, the Miami Dolphins at 18 drafted Jalen Phillips. I was unsure about this pick at first, to be honest with you. I didn't think any of those edge rushers. Jalen Phillips, talent-wise, is definitely worth 18. It's just the injury concern. But I'm happy with the pick now. I think he almost has a Jason Taylor type physique and play style. Of course, he had the concussions in college where he medically retired. But my personal opinion from watching, I did watch some film since the draft, is as far as being a pass rusher, he's one of the purest pass rushers I've seen since Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that.
That's good on Jalen Phillips.
For me, I was really, really upset at this pick at first because I wanted Najee Harris. And in my mind, it was Najee or bust. I don't care who's on the board. It has to be Najee Harris. And I don't even agree with that anymore. I went back, I watched the film, and I had already kind of looked at his film, but I took a deep dive. So he is not only great at pass rushing, he can stop the run. He is an edge setter and an edge defender, and he is clearly edge one in this draft. And there was no question that he was a pretty big gap, in my opinion, away from the next best player. And something that you can look forward to watch on the field is he's polished. He's been polished since he came out of high school. He knows what to do with his hands, which is something that I could point to a lot of the edge rushers in this class and say they don't have what would you call it, like a repertoire of pass rush moves. This guy has like a ton of moves. He can beat you with a swim move. He can beat you with a counter move. He knows bull rush. He knows what to do with his hands. Like a lot of these you're going to see it, and these edge players aren't going to be able to be effective right away rushing the passer. Like, don't let this feel like Charles Harris to you is what I'm saying. When he came out, he didn't know what to do with his hands. He didn't have a repertoire of pass rush moves, and you can't win in the NFL one way. And that's what I like about Jalen Phillips is he didn't win in college one way. He won every way. If you were doing one thing, he was even smart enough to like later on give you a fake of that one thing that the offensive line adjusted to, and then he'd give you the fake and give you something else, and he'd blow right through for a pressure or a sack. So yeah, Now that's a 2 thumbs up. Much better pick in my opinion than I had originally thought it was. Be excited about Jalen Phillips. He's that dude if he can stay healthy. He's that dude.
Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
He's that next Jason Taylor.
I don't know about that, but he's that dude.
I'm just talking about physique, skill wise. Yeah. Similar players. I'm
he's
not
so
saying
athletic. Yeah.
But you know.
Nah.
All right, so the next pick, we had 36. Personally, when it happened, my reaction was, who? And I can tell you now that out of everyone in this draft, we're going to get to our favorite players, but he is on my list. He is on my list. And I think his skill set and Brian Flores' defense is everything, is the reason why Flores traded Minka, is because, like, this is his guy. This is the guy he wanted, a tall, lengthy safety. And just to let you know, he's actually, in the 2021 draft class, he was third in career interceptions coming out of the class. As a safety.
And he opted out.
Yeah.
he's in 2 years.
Great tackler. Javon Holland. I loved the video of when he got drafted, how excited he was. We're going to Miami, and his whole family was excited. Good kid. I'm excited to see him in our defense next to Brandon Jones.
Yeah, holy crap. I was the same way as Andrew. Can only imagine. I said who, and I was pissed because safety was not what I wanted. We had just been sniped for Javonte Williams. And I can tell you right now, had Javonte Williams and Javon Holland been on the board at the same time, there's no way they picked Williams. They would have picked Holland no matter what. So everyone would have been pissed the same way. But, like, this guy, I don't even have a player comparison for him. I don't even want to compare him to Minkah Fitzpatrick because honestly, watching his film, he does more. And, like he does more than Minkah Fitzpatrick could do. what I saw when I watched, I'd never heard of him, or at least I had maybe heard the name but not seen the film. After watching the film, this guy is like an elite nickel player, but also can like stop the run like a strong safety, but is also rangy, so could probably play free safety. I don't see him being the Bobby McCain replacement, at least not until I see him at free safety. Because if you turn the film on, you'll see him at nickel more than anything, at that like nickel and at that like, but he can like cover really well.
He's a utility knife. I mean, he can do it all. And that's what I like about him. He's long.
And he's got a great attitude. He's got captain material. Like, he's the kind of guy that you can tell when he talks, he's got team captain material. Like, this guy's going to be, he reminds me of like an Xavier Howard type of pick with his ball skills in the second round. Probably should both have been first round picks. I will say this is the first player I can say like a shortcoming with, though, that can be coached out of him. He does tend to miss tackles because he goes for like the Cam Chancellor bam hits, which is really fun when he hits them, but sometimes he whiffs. That could be coached out of him, or they could coach him to like, to tone it down sometimes, but it's going to look awesome when it happens. That's my only flaw that I saw in his game, was he's a little handsy and he does the bam Cam hit, but other than that, 2 thumbs up. That's like a great pick for us.
Von Holland, I love it.
Yep.
All right, so the next pick we have, let's try and bang through these a little bit. We got a lot to get into. So the next pick we have at pick 42 is Mr. Incredible. Randy kind of went a little bit viral between Dolphins Twitter with this. Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. Personally, I love the pick and even when we drafted him, I texted in our group chat. I said, "Good pick." I just said, "Good pick." It's not a flashy pick. He's a 3-year starter. He never missed a start, and he hasn't allowed a sack in 33 straight games, and he only allowed 2 in his entire career at Notre Dame. Notre Dame produces great offensive linemen. I've said that in previous videos, and I think these first 4 picks that we just talked about, the thing I like is that all 4 of those can be immediate impact players week 1. Yep. Liam Eichenberg could easily slide into that right tackle position and kick Robert Hunt to guard. But all 4 of these guys, immediate starters, or maybe not starters, immediate impact players. So
I think they could start.
We'll see. Most of them probably.
Yeah. So we joke that he's Mr. Incredible, but what I saw on tape was Mr. Consistent. He is not. He's such a solid pick. He's not a mauler, and he's not like a pass protection guru. He's just always does his job good, and he always does it right, and he's got a good attitude, and he was a stalwart left tackle for Notre Dame for 3 years. Like the last 3 Notre Dame left tackles are all pros right now in the NFL. They're all pro players. So I believe that they're going to try him at multiple spots. He's probably best suited to play tackle on the right side. I wouldn't put him at guard. Some people think he'll be better at guard, but I just saw him play tackle on film, so I don't know how well it translates. But Mr. Consistent. He's not flashy. Hold on. I do want to say one thing about him. He is kind of the opposite player of Austin Jackson in a good way for both, right? So Austin Jackson is really raw but really athletic. I think Liam Eichenberg is really polished but not so athletic. So they're kind of opposite type players, and which I don't know where you'd prefer to have each one, but it's kind of nice to have a guy who's like really athletic and can climb and do all this stuff, and the other guy who's just not going to mess up or can be very consistent for you. Yeah. So both have great upside.
Yeah, that's why I said when it happened, I just said good pick. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't flashy. You probably won't notice him most games. Like, he's just going to be there to do his job. He's not going to probably get many pancake blocks or do anything crazy. But I'm going to always take an offensive tackle from Notre Dame.
Yeah, totally.
You're not going. I'll always take that. So
yeah.
All right, moving on. Round 3, pick 81. We went tight end Hunter Long. I also liked this pick when we got him. I did. I said that in our group chat. I said it's not a bad pick. We need another tight end. I'm not, smiting Shaheen if Gesicki does go down. I don't think many defenses are too worried about that. You can almost put any linebacker or safety on them and they'll be contained. Yeah. I think the Hunter Long pick, he was the FBS leader in receptions. And he's a genius. He builds computers and in his free time, it can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 47 seconds.
Yeah, smart guy.
He's a good polar opposite to Gesicki. if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No offense, Mike. We know you're watching the show. We think you're an awesome dude. We love you. You waved at us. Mike Gesicki waved at us at the Jacksonville game. We screamed his name, and he looked at us and waved. Cool guy. We're not trying to insinuate anything. Please don't beat us up. But I know what you mean about that.
Yeah. So I think Hunter, he can catch the ball. He can block. He's a complete tight end, which we've always talked about on this show. We don't have one of those. We have two halves. I think with that pick, of course, it is Coach Flores' college, hometown college, or not hometown, but
his alma
college.
mater.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't.
I hated it at first because I hadn't seen really any film, and my dad and I both said, wow, a big lumbering tight end. Like, is that really what we need? Is a lumbering tight end?
But he can catch.
You watch the film, and I don't think he's such an interesting player because he's not a world beater receiving tight end by any means, but he's reliable. I think his route running is meh, but that's not the only part of receiving, right? So he can catch. I think his hands are good. His route running is meh, but also he's very quarterback friendly. I think he saved Jurkovec, the quarterback out of Boston College, a ton of times. You go watch his film, and something's bad is happening in the backfield, and he gets open. He finds a way downfield to adjust to the direction the quarterback's scrambling. He's smart. So he did that well. I already think he's almost as good as, is not as good of blocker as Smythe. He's almost right there as Smythe and Shaheen as far as blocking. He's definitely a wide tight end to me. He's big. Yeah. He's a willing blocker. That's something that Mike Gesicki, not that he just can't block. Mike Gesicki to me isn't a willing blocker, whereas Hunter Long is a willing blocker. He'll punch your face in if he wants to, and he does want to all the time, which is good. So he can pass. He can give you some pass set blocking and some run blocking. They move him around too, which is kind of cool. He's a day one starter in the 12 personnel package, if that makes sense.
Yep. I think just throwing it out there, the best player comparison, at least I got from watching him, was almost like a better receiving Anthony Fasano. He doesn't look like the toughest guy, but he will get down there and block. I agree with what you said about being a willing blocker. There's a difference between can you block and are you willing to block. Yeah. I think Mike Gesicki's a little bit of both in the bad way, as in I don't think he can block.
And he's not interested.
Yeah,
he's not interested. But Hunter Long is interested in blocking. I think that's someone being a willing blocker. Quick note, Jalen Waddle is a willing blocker, just in the run game, just so everyone knows. I don't know if he really can block well, but he's not afraid to try, which is a huge step in the right direction because you can coach these players to block better. But you can't, Gesicki hasn't improved at blocking in 3 years, no offense. And if you argue with us and you disagree, put it in the comments. But he hasn't.
Talk that talk.
Yeah, tell us if you disagree. But he hasn't shown that he's willing to want to block ever. So I think that's why Long comes in and can start right away in 12 personnel because he gives you more options. You don't automatically think, oh, Long's on the field, they're running, or oh, Long's on the field, they're passing. So he gives you options, and I think he's actually a great pick now. So
yeah. All right. The next pick we had was Larnell Coleman from UMass, round 7, pick 231. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have much to say about him. I really don't know him. I haven't watched film on him. I do know that he is an athlete. He did score above average on every athletic measurement for offensive tackles entering the draft. He was a 4-year starter in high school playing basketball. Yeah. So he's an athlete, and that's about all I can give you on him. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably going to be a practice squad player just because of the amount of depth we have on the offensive line now. Truly, we have Jesse Davis still. I don't know what his future is, but we have Jesse Davis, DJ Fluker, Adam Pankey got an extension. He was a depth guy for us last year. So he's going to have a tough time, I think, making the active roster, but somebody we could develop probably. That's my guess. You never know.
Yeah. And then our last pick was, I don't know how to say his name. I didn't watch them announce the pick or anything, so I might butcher it, but I'm going to say Jared, but it was with a G, so maybe Garrett, maybe. Jared Dokes. I kind of like it. I kind of do. And I'm not saying he's going to be a stud, but for a 7th round pick, a guy that's his size, he's 5'11", 230. I mean, he is a strong dude, and he's got speed. It's not like he's just strong and can't run. He breaks open the field. He's going to compete for a roster spot. He's averaged 5.2 yards per carry throughout his college career, which is good at Cincinnati. He's a smart kid. He made the honor roll, first team All American, and then he was also on the East West Shrine game. So
Yeah, to me, what I saw when I just briefly looked at it is he can kind of catch, he can kind of block, he can kind of run. He's got an interesting skill set that makes me want to think it's a guy worth developing. We seem to get a lot out of these seventh round and undrafted. Our whole staple of running backs is seventh round or later or undrafted. Whole staple from Gaskin to Ahmed to Laird, and I think that Dokes really pushes Laird. The only thing I think Laird has over Dokes is NFL experience and a good rapport with Tua, but like I think that Dokes is a little bit more of an intriguing developmental thing. I would consider, let's see where he goes in training camp, but I would consider him to be like an active roster final guy kind of thing.
Yeah. One injury and he's going to have a big role. And, Gaskin was hurt last year. Ahmed was hurt last year. And one injury and he's going to be stepping right up.
We'd never heard of Ahmed until Gaskin got the injury. I've never seen the guy run in my life, and I think he had a 100-yard game or something, right?
Yeah, he 120, I think, against the Pats.
Yeah, and that was like what his second game ever even playing an NFL game.
But yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So Jared Dokes, that sums up our 2021 draft class. We're going to give it a grade when this video at the conclusion of this video, but we have something else I want to do. So we're going to go through our top 3 favorite picks right now. This doesn't mean that, the top 3 picks that are going to be the best players. This isn't our predictions. This is our right now, who we like the best. And that's it, just who we like the best. So we're going to start with number 3. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So my 3rd favorite pick out of our entire draft class was Liam Eichenberg. Mainly because he's not the flashiest guy, so he can't be my favorite pick. You gotta have a little bit of game in you. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be solid. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame offensive tackles tend to do well, so he's definitely earned my top 3, and I'm gonna keep him there at 3.
Okay, and my number 3 guy is probably gonna be Jalen Phillips.
Okay.
Yeah, defensive end. I'm intrigued to see that if he's healthy, how good he can really be. He's probably, some people had him as the best defensive player in this draft. So he's probably a defensive rookie of the year candidate. And I do believe he has that potential right away just because he's so polished already. So I'm excited to see that. His press conference, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It was pretty heartwarming. He loves Miami because he feels like Miami was the city that revived his love for football. Yeah. So he really loves the city and he's got a lot to get back to it. So I love Jalen Phillips.
Yeah. He didn't make my list, but I do have him written down as an honorable mention. So I'll just throw that out there. He is an honorable mention. I'm not going to go into detail. We've already discussed him, but honorable mention, Jalen Phillips. All right. So number 2, you go first.
Okay. So for number 2, I have Jalen Waddle. I'm just excited. I don't know what else there's to say. He's electrifying. We haven't had a dynamic playmaker in a while. Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki are awesome, but they're not like electric. They're big body guys who make cool plays, but like Jalen Waddle, I just can't wait to see him take it. I'm waiting for the 8-yard slant to turn into a 60-yard touchdown. Like the second I see that, I'm going to stand up and just like cheer and fist pump the air and be excited about it. So Jalen Waddle.
My number 2 is Javon Holland. The only reason So the only reason he's not number 1 is because my number 1, who we're going to get to, is who I'm most confident will be the best player out of the draft. So my number 1 is Jalen Waddle. We'll get that out there. So the only reason he's not above Waddle, I'm definitely just as excited for both of them. But I feel like if I had to choose one that's going to be here 5 years from now, it's probably going to be Jalen Waddle. But like I said, I love Javon Holland. Seems like a great kid. Excited to see him in Florida's defense. And then, like I said, number 1, Jalen Waddle. Not much to say. Yeah. Not much to say. For that 6-yard pass to go 68 yards.
You can't wait to see that. My number 1 is Javon Holland because not that I think he's going to be better than any of the people on this list. I'm intrigued because what I saw on film in college left me thinking like there's so many creative ways and I guarantee you that Josh Boyer is a better defensive coordinator than whoever they have at Oregon. So like I'm excited to see him in this defense. I'm excited to see what his role is right away. I want to see if he becomes the nickel guy, if he's a chess piece, if he's looking to take free safety reps. Like I'm intrigued by a player I knew nothing about, turned the film on and was like, man, this guy is a dynamic ball hawking playmaker that could take this defense from being like a top 5 to like the number 1 defense. So I'm
Yep.
just looking to see what that looks like, and that's intriguing to me. That makes him my number 1 like favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All good. So now we're gonna just talk about one player you're not too excited about. I feel like we're gonna have the same one. No shade at him. No shade, of course, but just one guy that you maybe didn't hear of when we drafted him, and then you're like, he might get a roster spot somewhere. Mine is Larnell Coleman out of UMass.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, just not excited.
I don't see a lot of room. I don't see a lot of room for him on this team. So you never know. You never know. We're not saying like that it won't become something. We're lukewarm on it. I would have been excited with other people. There was like Marvin Wilson out of Florida State could have been drafted. There's a lot of people who fell. So that could have been a different player. But
all right, so it has come to the time where we are going to give our overall grade of this draft. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? I'll
go first. So I'm teetering between like a B+ and an A. So I guess I'll go A-. I want to go A- because I do think like if you ask any other team, no one had the amount of picks in the first 2 rounds that we did, and I think all of them are like their potential is like their floor is like good. That's awesome. When their floor is good, their floor could even almost be great, and the ceiling is superstar for all of them. Like even Liam Eichenberg could end up being an All-Pro player because of his like all of the left tackles at Notre Dame have been. But like Jalen Waddle has All-Pro potential. So does Phillips. So does Holland. Those 3 have All-Pro potential, and their floor, they come in and they're already at least good, which is awesome. Yeah. So A-. The only reason it's not an A+ is we didn't have any picks from the 3rd round to the 7th round. And Hunter Long wasn't the most exciting. It wasn't the sexiest pick. We'll just say it wasn't the sexiest. And then the 7th round picks I'm lukewarm on. So like it's not an A and it's not an A+, but definitely can't give them anything lower than A-.
So I have A- written down too. Similar thought process to what you had. I think the biggest difference between this draft and last draft was last draft with the Noah Igbenogany picks and the Austin Jackson, and honestly, even Tua, you didn't know if those guys were even going to be starters come week 1. And I can tell you these top 4 guys that we drafted, I'd say there's a 90% chance every single one of them is start at the top of their depth chart.
That's what I'm saying. This floor is higher.
So I'm going to give it an A- because of that. Lots of potential. Man, I'm so ready now. Ready for training camp, ready for OTAs, ready for everything.
Yeah, catch us there. We'll be there. So we're planning on it at least.
That's going to wrap it up. I'm going to ask everyone, if you are watching, please subscribe. We're going to put more content out there. I think for us, we stay pretty on top of it.
Yeah, we want to do more, and we like feedback. We want to do more. We want you to like the videos. Even liking a video on YouTube, I like almost every video I watch on YouTube just because it helps the content creators so much, and it's free, and it takes 2 seconds. If you're watching this right now, hit the like button. So, for example, we're going to have 150 people watch this.
Hold on. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to like the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like the video. All right, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. That's what I'm saying. It's it's free to like the like button, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm so much, and that could help so many content creators, not just us. It's a free way to help, and it's awesome. So we appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you for watching. We love this team. We love this community. So we're really excited about the season, and we hope you.
This will be our first full season diving into these videos. So I'm sure we're only going to get better. I feel like since our first, if you go back and watch our first video, I don't recommend it. It's not the best.
I wouldn't.
But if you do, we've gotten so much better since then. So I'm excited for the future. I'm going to say with that, we are signing off. We will catch you guys on Twitter. Look for more videos later in the week. We got some other stuff coming out. So I'll catch you guys on Twitter.
Pins up.